starts with that, an aircraft. And more importantly, an aircraft heading for Glasgow. Around 1948 it was known as Renfrew Airport. Not in Shannon, what I have described later on in the video. When you got there were two different airports. This is in Shannon, or Glasgow Airport as it's now known as. Another one was Renfrew Airport, which was now a part of the M8. So we go back to 1948, we take off from Norfolk Town and we take off in a Vickers Viking.
Aeroplane takes off from Norfolk Town. It's bound for Renfrew Airport as it speeds along the ground.
It's heading towards Glasgow during the night and it's running approximately on time, and the weather starts to deteriorate. And as it starts to deteriorate, things get difficult for them on the approach to Glasgow. The weather deteriorated that it was fog bound and hard to see the runway. The pilots had to rely on their instruments to see where they were going. This was known as the standard beam approach, a very early ILS. The approach into Glasgow, they realised that they were coming in too high and they were slightly too fast, so they opted to go for the go around, where they were to travel along the length of the runway, travel out about a mile or so, circle around and come back and pick up the beacon. Now the beacon is the most important part here. Now as they circled into the airport, they were trying to pick up the standard beam approach. That's where they were hearing their radio frequencies that either gave a dash or a dot, and if they were in the middle they would hear a constant sound. This is where they were travelling out and they were picking up this beacon, and the next clip I'm going to show you is back in the simulator where we're picking up that beacon. After he made the approach, you can hear that bleep bleep bleeping just now in the background. That bleep in the background is the beacon. The beacon is nominated by these three little lights on the bottom left hand corner of the control wheel. There's a blue light, an orange light and a white light. The blue light indicates the outer marker, and the two of them were looking out for the sound on the single beam for the outer marker to begin their turn back to the runway. Now in this approach, as I said, you were hearing for that beacon, that bleep bleep bleep, they were looking for the outer marker. Sadly the aircraft didn't pick up this marker, or so the pilots thought. They thought they remained in this single beam approach where they were getting this constant stream of sound coming through their headsets, while the radio operator was trying to find out what happened to the beacon. During this time, a state of confusion. Time was passing and the aircraft was veering off course. All the time the aircraft was coming off course, they didn't realise they were actually flying into the Renfrew hills. These hills were quite high in some of their peaks, so the aircraft was roughly around about 13 to 1500 feet approximately when it was doing this go around. All the time the pilots were trying to pick up the beacon. As time was going on, they were flying further and further into the Renfrew hills. Now as they were flying into the Renfrew hills, they were totally unaware that they were off course. They solely believed that they were still flying in this single beam approach into Renfrew Airport. They were still trying to pick up this beacon, but sadly time had ran out for the aircraft. During the confusion of the pilots trying to find out whether they missed the beacon or not, time had ran out for the Vickers Viking. It was approaching the Irish Law at a low altitude. The aircraft impacted by Irish Law with the front right landing gear taking the full impact. The second impact was the wing touching the hillside and scraping along. At this point the plane started to break up. During this break-up, a fire ensued and this harrowing crash into the Irish Law.
So, on the 21st of April 1948, the Vickers Viking from Norfolk in London flies over the Renfrewshire Heights near Glasgow and comes down. It quickly bursts into flames after bouncing twice along the turf. Very boggy ground there, as you'll see that from the video with G-AIVE. Very boggy ground there. The plane bursts into flames, and the first thought of the passengers is, we need to get out. So they kick the door, it doesn't open. They kick it again, it falls to the ground, and two of them nearly fall out with it. So that is them. They're out the plane and they're on the ground. The plane burns within 2 minutes. So they step back from the aircraft and they're just stunned. They begin to evaluate what's happened. Wounds treated on the spot, minor cuts, bruises, some broken bones, which will hinder them later on. Not dressed for it at all. Some of the women had just very light dresses on, so they were not dressed for an incident such as that. It was very foggy, it was rainy, the terrain was very unforgiving, and there was also no drink and no food. So a difficult night lay ahead for them. Captain Ramsden was the pilot of the plane, and he and Henry Watt, one of the passengers, decided quite quickly to leave the scene and to go and get help. Remember, in these days there's just no way of contacting anyone. There's no mobile phones, no computers. The aircraft radio's smashed up to bits. So they set off and head down the moor. Now eventually they find the source of the go-go water, which enters into Largs near the harbour. Now, good lesson to be learned there. If you find a stream, always follow it down from the hills. You'll get down eventually. So they follow the go-go water down, and eventually they get to the town of Largs. They get to the pier, and there they're able to raise the alarm to Renfrew Airport. So, on raising the alarm, rescue parties are organised, and Ramsden decides he would lead a party himself. Now, you would think at this stage, you would think he would be told that his part in the rescue is now over. He was in a bit of a state, but very courageous man. He was later decorated for that. The police car, eventually when it organises search parties, the police car's taken to the Barite mine in the Muirshield Country Park. It's a couple of miles from the crash site, to be honest. Not the best place to go. Treks would be organised, torches and whistles given out. The search parties that went in the first instance drew a total blank. They could not find anything. And Ramsden was sent home at that point and told his part was over, to go home. Now the rest of them that are still up in the moor, they're experiencing 35 knot winds at that point, driving rain, and they decide to leave. Now they have a fair trek as well. They didn't quite make it to Largs, but they made it down the hill to a place called Flat Farm. And again, there they were made very welcome, given food and drink and clothing. And again, the authorities were alerted that they were there. So to recap, Ramsden and Watt left to get help. They were first to go. They made it several miles down via the go-go water to Largs Pier, where they telephoned Renfrew Airport, and rescue services were put into action at that point. Arnold Lloyd's party made it to Ladyland House, way over the other side of the hills, totally the opposite side. Ladyland House was a stately home in that area. And again, they were made very welcome, and authorities contacted. The rest, they were 9 hours longer. They made it eventually down the same side as the Largs side to Flats Farm, and again from there they went to the Victoria Hotel. How they would have dealt with this in the aftermath, what these people must have been going through on that night, All I can say is it's one of the hardest treks I've ever done. It was only a couple of miles to the crash site, but over quite steep and very, very boggy ground. It was really, really difficult, and I can only say again, yeah, Jake ended up in a bog up to his waist and I had to pull him out, so that's the type of terrain you're going into there. In these days there wasn't really an awful lot of help available. They were compensated for their luggage, that was all. There was no instrument in progress whereby they could sue the aircraft for negligence and gain thousands of pounds, which helps a bit. But how you deal with something like that mentally, it must have been very, very difficult. They must have preyed on their minds all through the years. The flight team had a very long career. They'd already had quite a long career before that, flying fighter jets, etc. in the war. They were very, very experienced pilots. They all continued to fly aircraft long after that. You also have to remember in these days that instrumentation and ways of getting into airports were a lot more primitive than they are today. I just cannot imagine what these people went through on that night.
As you can see, we're fully kitted up today. We're going on a massive hike. I don't know if you can see it because the mist is starting to come down now. Got a couple of shots. Way up there in the distance is a place called Irish Law. There's an aircraft that was downed up there, so we're hoping to hike up to that today. But we've got to get through this electric fence first. And I ain't going through it. I ain't going for.
Jake's going to test it by putting his leg over it and catching it in a certain place.
Oh, I'm called Jake the Big with extra leg. Hey, hey. Right, we're going to carry on this. We're not going to be speaking too much on the way up here. I'm going to get a lot of B-roll for us running up here because I'm not going to have enough breath for me to keep walking. And I'm pretty sure Jamie will be the same. So a lot of B-roll, we'll get yous up there, and if we stop in between, we'll vlog in between. So, are we ready?
Yep, let's go.
You going first time? Yep. If you're ever a adventurer, it was a hard way. I'm going through the hole in this fence, and I'm walking up here, because I know there's a bit here with plastic on it, and I'm not going to get my backside fried if I touch the fence. Because I'm carrying a bigger bag than Jamie today. I don't know why. So Jamie's shouting there, I'm a bigger guy.
Right, so Jake is going to try and get underneath the electric fence. This should be funny, folks. Ooh, ooh. Oh, yeah, you're clearing it, you're clearing it. No, not quite. That's it. You didn't get zapped. I don't think it's on. Touch it with your hand, Jake.
There's a bigger moo-moo here.
Right, so this is us going up towards the Irish Wall, where one of the aircraft crashed in the 1950s, and Jake is leading the way. Lovely viewpoint, and actually very nice weather, very nice day, a little chilly but not too bad at all. How you doing, Jake? You surviving? Did you bring the malt whiskey?
I have actually.
Jake's just going to cross the stream here with his full backpack on. He's got the kitchen sink in there. You get the kitchen sink in that backpack, yeah, in case we need to wash the dishes. Oh, no. Right, so we're at 400 metres, 85 to go to get to the top, and hopefully we'll be able to see aircraft wreckage on the other side. But as Jake said earlier on, I bet you in there's another peak. In the distance there you can see Aaron. I'll just zoom in. We're actually up above the clouds.
People, to show you where we are. We started off here today. We drove up down there where the car's parked just now. We then hiked across this, followed this little burn river stream. And just where that number 4 is there, I'll just bring in a wee touch. Roughly where we are, and we're almost there. Down Vickers. The other site's away over there, but we don't know if we're going to get to that today. So we're going to carry on up this route, see how long we go. And there's Jamie. I don't know if I get him in focus. And way down in the background is where the car is, where we came from. And that's Aaron in the background, as Jamie was vlogging earlier on too.
Right, so we're at the top of Irish Wall. As you can see, plenty of snow on the ground. The view all around us. No sign of the aircraft wreckage yet, but it could be off any one of the ledges here, although we think it's somewhere over here. So we're going to make a cup of tea with a wee stove that Jake has brought. Then we'll go looking for the aircraft wreckage. That last 100 metres up was extremely steep. You might see a wee bit of it on the X2000 cam when I upload it. It was quite hard going.
Strikes by my window, hits my chest right in the morning, like a warning. Could have slept here for days. I felt your heartbeat, felt your mouth breathe, but it's not real. We were close to see the sun, but clouds got in our way, and so
wondering, with the way the aircraft's came down, I wonder if he's come down and hit this bit here and crashed and skidded down to here. But it's, as Jamie quite rightfully said, when we came down here, it's a fair size of crater here, which is quite underneath a lot of the snow, but you can actually look around and see it. And there's another piece of the wreckage way over there. We're going to go and, well, I'm going to go and have a look at it. Anyway, we'll see what's about. And Jamie's picking up, I don't know, a bit of tubing. Big radial engine. See the path he's come up
Yeah,
here.
I know.
It's an amazing flaming piece of history right in front of you.
I know, yep.
Working the engine,
Yeah,
the fan blade. 50s technology, eh?
yep,
Well, they were probably just after World War II.
yep.
It's
There's another bit there. Yep, bits of wreckage everywhere. Another bit there.
That's what it is. Aye, too much wreckage there.
Yeah. It's over quite a wide area. That's a wing, isn't it? Yeah, flaps. Wing flaps. Yeah.
Underneath that snow.
Yeah, I know, there's sharp bits everywhere.
I wonder if this is a bit of that.
Yeah.
That looks like the tail.
Yeah.
There's the tail wheel.
Yeah.
The tail draggers.
Yeah.
Came right in there and he's landed there.
Yeah. Just skimmed right across.
Aye. Aye, I think you're right, Jamie. He's came down here, bump,
Aye.
hit this,
Aye.
ploughed right up to there.
Yep.
They've all got out and hey presto, shoosh kebab.
It's fair distance that he's travelled bouncing, huh?
Aye, it's about 50, 70 metres,
Yep.
maybe more.
Aye. That's his resting place,
The
yeah.
impact zone here, Jamie.
Yep.
Because if you look
Looks
at
like
it,
impact zone, yep. Impact zone the shape of an aircraft.
that's obviously a wing that's hit this.
Yep. Right.
You know that bit, it's just came
Yep.
down, boom.
Aye. Yep.
The other wing looks like it's hit out of that side and broke
Yeah.
up.
Aye.
It's all just been thrown forward.
Yep.
So he's definitely come in from this side. He's came, when he's lost the beacon, he's came back around his circle. And he circled around and came down too low. And he's came in between that hill and the Irish Law. I like to actually do this in the simulator. As you already know, I'm a big massive flight simulator. I'll download the Vickers, Viking,
Viking.
right? We'll set up the NDB approach that he was supposed to do into Glasgow Airport. But bear in mind the Glasgow Airport's NDBs are what you call National Directional Beacons. We'll try and see if we can simulate what the pilot was going through in that day. Because I've got a weather app that allows me to do historical data. So we'll try and see if we can do it. I'm not going to promise that it will work, but we'll try and do it and simulate it, see what can happen. And see how difficult that approach really is. Because right at this precise moment, just over the hill, there's a plane just coming into Glasgow Airport. I don't know if Jamie's camera will pick that up. So, but the airport's totally different now, because it was Abbott's Inch. It was called the airport. It was a military airport
It was
before
Renfrew
it was
Airport.
Renfrew.
Renfrew.
Abbott's Inch, Renfrew.
Yeah. Same
It's
thing,
same
but
thing.
yeah.
More or less. But it's changed a lot since then. What do you call it? So I don't know how historically accurate I can be with it, but I can only try on the simulator. Maybe add a wee clip at the end of this video of me trying the approach using the same aircraft at the same time, see if I can do it. But I don't know if I can capture the crash in the same point, but we can only try. Right, so what me and Jamie need to do now is grab the gear, start heading back and see what we've got to do from there.
Yep.
Right, so be rolling home. Well, just to show you how dangerous that place is up there, these are my good walking poles. They call it, survived me a good few 100 miles, these things. I bought them when I first did my West Highland Way, way back, and they've lasted me a long time, until the Irish law claimed these. You can see snap cleanly, another one bent. So you've got to be really careful if you ever consider going up this walk up to the Irish law. Number one, be careful of the ground. Number two, make sure for God's sake there's two of these. If it wasn't for Jamie, I was knee deep, maybe possibly up to my waist in that bog, and Jamie had to pull me out. Had I been up there myself filming this, I wouldn't have been off that hill. The Irish law would have claimed me up there. So just be careful if you ever go out walking. I mean, I'm an experienced hill walker, and it still caught me.
Yeah, I'm just above Ladyland House, and in the distance that is the hills that the plane crashed on. Pretty unforgiving even in April. It would have been cold and foggy that night, and four of them walked down through these hills to Ladyland House just below here. Now, thankfully, probably in April there would have been no snow, but you would be very fortunate to survive a night up there in April temperatures in the west of Scotland. It was raining and it was foggy that night, so it would have been really disheartening for them all. There were easier places they could have come down, but in the dark, without any proper lighting and proper clothing, a straight line down would have been the obvious choice. They possibly followed a stream down from here, all the way down to Ladyland House. And down below is the valley the plane should have been flying along on its flight into Renfrew. I'm sure Jake will confirm that. This is a normal flight path. Whether it was in the 1940s, I'm not sure. But the plane was some way off course after losing the beacon in the road in. The beacon gives it a beam to guide itself in. Another little shot of Ladyland House.
Well, hello peeps. Back on with the get up, get two on the camera. Right, carrying on for, what do you call it, from my little trek up to the Irish law. I'm now currently walking along, what do you call it, the river. It's on my right hand side. It's just down there, wee waterfall. I think it's called the Go-Go Water. And this is the route that Captain Ramsden and I think it was this other Swedish person, I'm not 100% sure. I'll need to double check that. If not, I'll put a wee description who it was. A wee link down below if I find out the information. So this is kind of like the track, maybe not so much this time, but a way back in the 48, that the captain would have followed down from the Irish law for the crashed aircraft at night in the howling wind, rain, probably soaked through to the skin. And as you already know, when I came back down off the Irish law, I went through a bog. I was right up to my knee. I bent my, what do you call it, my good walking poles. Yeah, I had no even cheap ones. I bent one and it ended up snapping, and if it wasn't for Jamie, then I would have been in trouble up there. Jamie managed to pull my backside out of a really stinking wet bog. That's the only way to discover it. So it was an uncomfortable walk back down from the Irish Law. And as you both heard me and Jamie saying repeatedly, that the terrain in that place was absolutely brutal for walking across. Now I'm an experienced hill walker, and so is Jamie. What do you call it? We've climbed a few hills over times over here in Scotland, and I'll tell you right now, that was one of the hardest ever I have ever done. And if that was us doing that in daylight in what we would call optimal, that word, right, I'll put it there. Optimal was, what do you call it, weather. We chose that one deliberately because it would be cold, crisp. The ground, if it was boggy, would be solid with ice to make it easier for us to crawl on or walk on. In some cases, sorry about the wind. Said we chose that deliberately so that we could walk across that ground dead easy, but as you already know, it was pretty brutal. So for that captain and other person to do that was remarkable. And where this bit is as well, as I said, the captain, it's not just the captain who did this, it was also the rest of them, what do you call it, the females that was left beside the, what do you call them, steward, was all led down here as well to a farm. She's no longer here anymore, and I have a feeling it's probably up that side, up the top, up there. They came down, that's where they found their refuge. Apparently the farm now has been built on top of, and it's all houses, which I might show a shot of later on if I can get the opportunity. I'm pushed for time today, due to a delay. My son wasn't well yesterday, he wasn't well today, so I had to wait until his mum came in and look after him. So this is me walking down here, and I'm walking on a relatively good, well maintained path, and I'm making good progress up and down here. I am not walking up to the Irish Law, no way, that's too far. Right, so this is kind of like the road that Captain Ramsden and that would have went down first into the village at that time, or town of Largs, which I'll show you now. That bridge, shaky. I'm going to carry on up here a bit further. what can I say? This storyline that we actually made was amazing, that we actually got into this big time. After the walk, we found out more and more information, and we thought we just had to go and translate that information to yourselves. At the moment you can hear a jet sitting up there. This is the new route coming in and out of Glasgow, which will soon be changing, I think, this year, possibly. There was a consultation on it. It's starting to snow. So this is the Castle Semple Lock that the new aircraft take over and fly into Glasgow. As you can hear him up above, he's taking off. So the story here line, is all I can say is now the story of the Vicker's Viking ends now. I said it was a great storyline that captivated me and Jamie enough to tell the full story of the aircraft. So hopefully next time you'll tune in and we'll see you again in the next episode of the Flying Jocks saying adios.